This is World Report. Good morning, I'm John Northcott.
As of 9 a.m. this morning, we've recorded 59 deceased in Kerr County. Among those who are deceased, we have 38 adults and 21 children.
Kerr County Sheriff Larry Latha providing an update from south central Texas. The search continues for survivors. 11 young campers and one counselor are still missing from a Christian girls' camp after torrential rain and flash flooding swept through the area. Now forecasters warn more rain is to come. Steve Futterman reports.
The search for the missing goes on. Rescue crews are going through piles of debris, hoping somehow to find someone who survived. Brian Blackbird is looking for his sister and brother-in-law.
We're still hoping for the best. That's all we can do, and pray.
This teenager found an 8-year-old girl trapped in the debris.
All of a sudden we just hear somebody say, "Help, help, and somebody help us."
The exact number of people missing is unclear, since many simply showed up in the area to spend the 4th of July holiday. Some are posting pictures on social media sites, asking if anyone knows the whereabouts of their loved ones. Texas Governor Greg Abbott says all resources needed are being devoted to the search and rescue efforts.
This is a 24/7 operation, day and night.
All day yesterday, the death toll was continually being updated upward, and officials say they expect the numbers to go up again. Lorena Guillen owns an RV park. One family that was staying at the park is missing.
Yeah, there was 3 little kids and 2 adults that were absolutely adorable.
This morning, questions are still being asked about why forecasters failed to predict the extreme danger before the flooding began. It's not clear whether cutbacks by the Trump administration in the National Weather Service may have played a role. Steve Futterman for CBC News, Los Angeles.
Meanwhile, the southeast U.S. is facing some severe weather. Tropical storm Chantal is starting to come ashore along the Carolina coast. It has sustained winds of about 85 kilometers an hour, but it's heavy rain that has forecasters concerned. South Carolina's emergency management is giving flash flood warnings for coastal areas. There is also the risk of isolated tornadoes. U.S. President Donald Trump's trade tariffs are expected to top the agenda at today's BRICS summit in Brazil. Leaders from 11 emerging economies are calling the tariffs indiscriminate and a risk to the global economy. But for the first time in more than a decade of his rule, Chinese President Xi Jinping will not be attending the summit. As the CBC's Anna Cunningham reports, his decision is sparking a lot of speculation.
Arriving in Rio de Janeiro for the BRICS 2-day summit, India's leader Narendra Modi greeted with fanfare, a preparation for his state visit starting once the summit ends. India is one of the original BRIC nations. The 11-country group includes the world's biggest emerging economies, making up about 40% of the global economic output and half the world's population. This Brazil summit takes on an extra urgency, with many members facing a looming deadline to negotiate US tariff deals. Brazil, Russia, India and China are now joined in BRIC membership by South Africa, Saudi Arabia, Iran, the United Arab Emirates, Egypt, Ethiopia and Indonesia. But for the first time since 2012, China's President Xi Jinping is not attending, instead sending his number 2, Premier Li Qiang. President Xi's absence has been explained away by a scheduling clash, despite fevered speculation he did not want to be upstaged by the Indian Prime Minister. Russian President Vladimir Putin will join online, unable to travel to Brazil, a signatory to the International Criminal Court, where he faces war crime charges. At a pre-summit business forum, Brazil's President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva urged emerging nations to defend the multilateral trade system. AI and health will also be on the agenda. Anna Cunningham, CBC News, London.
Just weeks after his public falling out with Donald Trump, Elon Musk is announcing he's forming a new political party. He's calling it the America Party. In a statement on his social media platform X, Musk says his party will restore democracy and give Americans back their freedom. Musk has been a vocal critic of the president's so-called Big Beautiful Bill, which Trump signed into law on Friday. Police in Australia have charged a man in connection with an attack on a synagogue in Melbourne. Authorities say someone poured liquid on the synagogue's front door before setting it on fire. About 20 people were inside at the time. Home Affairs Minister Tony Burke visited the site today.
What we see in the door that's behind me is an attack on Australia. That's what it is. when people have said, and there's been some reporting, that no one was physically injured, that doesn't mean no one was harmed. The community here was harmed, the Jewish community in Australia was harmed, and we were harmed as a nation.
A 34-year-old man from Sydney is charged with arson and reckless conduct endangering life. Australia has seen a number of anti-Semitic attacks in the past few months, sparked by tensions over the Israel-Hamas war. Police in eastern Ontario are asking for the public's help to determine what caused serious injuries to an 8-year-old girl. Authorities suspect she was attacked by some kind of wild animal almost 2 weeks ago, but they say they don't know for sure. Meanwhile, people living in the rural area about 200 kilometres west of Ottawa are being told to continue keeping their young children under close watch. Nicole Williams has more.
I think it's resulting in increase of frustration and maybe some fear.
Joseph Fiorentino is a pastor in Quadville, Ontario. It's where an 8-year-old girl had first gone missing on Monday afternoon 2 weeks ago, then was found in the middle of the night with life-threatening injuries. She was airlifted 2 hours east to the Children's Hospital in Ottawa, where she remains in serious but stable condition.
The young girl is improving. And the family has a lot more hope now.
Ever since, people in the area have been left to wonder exactly what happened. Ontario Provincial Police suspect she was attacked by an animal, but have otherwise been fairly quiet about the case until now.
If he was a witness to the incident, it may help us identify what the cause of the injuries were and what type of animal.
Acting Staff Sergeant Jeff Delgadis says they're looking for a man in his 60s riding a motorcycle in the area the day of the incident. He's not under investigation, but police believe he may be able to help piece together the puzzle of that day. In the meantime, Fiorentino says the community has come together to support the family of the little girl.
Money is just coming in, and it's enabling them to travel and to visit and to, help her with all her needs.
He says fundraising efforts are ongoing. The family deeply moved as this girl continues to fight for her life. Nicole Williams, CBC News, Ottawa.
We've never seen someone like this who totally embodies selflessness, complete love and compassion and wisdom.
Hollywood star Richard Gere praises the Dalai Lama. Gere, who is a practicing Buddhist, joined in today's 90th birthday celebrations for the spiritual leader of Tibet's Buddhists. The milestone comes as Beijing and the Dalai Lama are locked in a battle on who will succeed him. The CBC South Asia correspondent Salima Shivji reports.
An exuberant welcome dance as the Dalai Lama, now 90 years old, slowly enters his temple in the northern Indian town of Dharamshala, where he's lived in exile for decades. He's more frail, leaning on his aids as he walks. To receive a prayer for a long life in front of several thousand devotees.
It was magic. It was wonderful.
It was my dream to see him.
This couple traveled from Moscow to hear the Dalai Lama tell the crowd he hopes to live to be 130 years old. The spiritual leader of Tibet's Buddhists, who fled to India in 1959 as China's rule over Tibet tightened, is bracing his community for another fight with Beijing. He's announced he will be reincarnated after he dies, according to Tibetan tradition, and that only his nonprofit will have the authority to find the next Dalai Lama. But China has other plans, saying its government will approve the next spiritual leader.
Now that I say is absurd because
Sikyong Penpa Sering is the head of Tibet's government in exile.
The leadership vacuum could happen in the case of reincarnation.
He knows the future will be difficult, with an increasingly aggressive China widely expected to name a rival Dalai Lama. But the exiled government is working on rallying the international community to stand up in support of the Dalai Lama's right to choose who should lead his people. Salima Shivji, CBC News, Dharamshala, India.
And that is the latest national and international news from World Report. If you enjoy the World Report podcast, tell a friend or rate and review us. It helps to spread the word. I'm John Northcott. Thanks for spending part of your weekend with us here at CBC News.